Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter and welcome to my weekly episode. It is episode number 331 and it's November the 11th, 2025. And today here in Canada, it is Remembrance Day. So let us remember and let us honor our fallen soldiers, because if they hadn't done what they have done, well, we know we would not be the country we are today. Okay, let's take a look at what I've been working on. You have seen this several times. I'm showing it again, and I sort of semi-promise that you will not see this again until it is quilted. Okay, so there it is. Stormy Sea, 108 inches square. It is a big quilt, and thus my problem, which is it will not fit on Lucy. As I discussed this on Stephen and Walter Live this past week, I'm looking at alternatives, and I think I have found an alternative, but I haven't yet actually gone and got the quilt in to be quilted. Yes, I'm having it quilted by professionals. I'm contacted Kawartha Quilting because they do quilting. They have a huge gamble system, and I don't care how much this is going to cost me. I've budgeted out about $1,000 to have this quilted. Now you're going to go, oh my God, $1,000? Well, look at it this way. The kit cost me $400. I had to buy additional material for it that cost me another 100 or so, plus backing, which cost another 100. So we're already into it for about $600. It came out perfect. Walter has scrutinized it. There aren't any mistakes. As I said, it's 108 inches square, and that's exactly what it's supposed to be. So I did not have to fudge anything here. I'm not out by 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch anywhere. I was very, very careful in my cutting and in my piecing. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Walter thinks it's absolutely gorgeous, which is high praise, considering that he's the one that picked out this quilt for our bed. And you've heard me go over that before too, so I won't bother. So I want it quilted and I want it done right. And I know if I try to, jerry-rig my Lucy somehow, I don't know how that would be, or do some kind of thing like remove the borders, do the center, for the quilting, no, I'm not going to fool around with that, because I would end up hating what I had done, and I don't want to hate this quilt. So I am prepared to pay top dollar to have it quilted properly, an edge-to-edge design, I think. I know some of you who are into free motion quilting would probably say, well, look at that negative space that you've got in the borders. That would be great for customizing. And there's, all these different blocks, and it'd be great for customizing as well. Yes, you are probably right, but I am not going to have it. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I don't think I'm going to bother. I just want edge to edge, and I want a fairly simple design. I don't have a design in my mind yet, but that's something I will discuss with them at Kawartha Quilting. I want something that's got some curvy lines to it, but I don't want it to take away from the quilt itself. So I want it fairly simple. I also want them to supply the batting, which they do. And originally I was thinking just go with my 80/20 hobs, which they have, but I'm thinking wool right now. Now, a few people have suggested bamboo. I'd have to think about that. I'm not sure if they offer bamboo. I do know they offered wool at about $28, I think. I filled out a form and sent the form off to them. And on the form it says, yeah, they don't show bamboo, but they do show Hobbs heirloom wool, 108 inch, $28 per meter. Well, if you're just going to get Hobbs 80/20, 120 inches, it's $20. So $8 more a meter. I'll probably need at least 3.5 meters. That's not a lot more money. So I think I probably will go for the wool. They also offer a service. I'm just looking at the form. They ask if you'd like them to trim it up once quilted, and I've put yes. I'm not sure how much more that'll cost. And then it says, do you need us to piece the backing? I put no, but I have the backing ready to go. I did have to piece it myself because I didn't have enough to have, overhang on this. So, and they're saying, is your backing 8 inches wider than your top? Yeah, it is now that I've pieced it, but yeah, if I can get 120-inch backing from them that I like. I mean, I really like the backing fabric that goes with this quilt, and it doesn't come in 120. But if I find something, probably in a batik, although it doesn't necessarily have to be, but the whole thing is batik, um, then yeah, I'll buy theirs. And yes, that's going to cost me. So that's going to be added on to all of this. They estimate the price for this as being $349.92 based on the size of the quilt for the quilting alone. So you can see it's going to add up. And I don't care. I don't care because I spent a lot of time with this. It is what I'm going to call my opus quilt, meaning that I will probably never, I'm pretty sure I won't, ever make another quilt this big, this complicated. Well, maybe complicated, but not this big. Definitely not. Man, I keep hearing it echoing in my brain, Walter, going, you should have got the 12-foot. You should have got the 12-foot frame. I only got the 10. And yes, I've had some people suggest, well, why not trade up, to the next frame? Looked into it. It's $11,000. That's with the frame that goes up and down, electrified, which mine doesn't do that now, which is not really a biggie for me, a problem. But I mean, if I was going to do that, I'd do it the right way. So, considering all my options, I think going with Kawartha Quilting is going to be the best. Now, how soon will it be before I get it back? I have no idea. I know this time of the year they're probably inundated with quilts that people want to give as Christmas gifts, and they've left it all at the last minute to get them quilted. But that's okay. I also put on my form, I am not in a rush. I mean, if this takes 6 months, it takes 6 months. I don't know. But anyways, that's the first thing I've done is sent them off this form they've asked for. I did that on Saturday morning. And they're not open on Sundays or Mondays. So if I don't hear anything from them by tomorrow, Wednesday, then I'll give them a call, send them an email, and say, hi, when can I bring you my quilt and talk to you about this? So yeah, that's where we stand with it right now. I'm happy with the top. I'll be even happier when the whole thing is completely done because I think it'll be beautiful. And I do trust Kawartha Quilting to do this. Okay, so that takes me to one other little thing that I just did. I did this as more or less to see how it would turn out. It was on sale, and it's in the hoop Lacy table runner. I did it in black, grays, and whites. It's something you put it together. You do it in pieces. There are 4 pieces, 2 ends, 2 middles, and then you actually sew it together in the hoop. I've done this kind of thing before. This one is very fine looking, delicate. It's very stiff because I used water-soluble stabilizer, of course, with this. I did rinse out some of the stabilizer, but it's still stiff as a board. So I'm going to throw it in when I do my laundry this week. I will throw it in the washing machine with that and see how well it washes the rest of the stabilizer out. And then I'll have to press it, and it'll probably sit in a drawer, and that'll be the end of it. There is a mistake on the back, and I didn't show you the back, but basically you're not supposed to see all of the satin stitching through the back except around the outside, and you do that by laying down a piece of backing fabric, and So I got to the last section, and I forgot to do that, so you can see the stitching on the back. Not that you would be looking at the back on something like this. So, yeah. I could have done this in color. I don't know if I'll do another one or not because it's pretty. I think it would be pretty in color. I don't know where I'd put it. And I did it because I needed a palette cleanser. More than anything else, it was on sale for like under $5 Canadian for the files. So I thought I'd give it a try. And it looks like cut work, the way they've designed it. Oops, sorry, wrong picture. Up here in the hearts and the diamonds, those go all the way through. And this kind of looks like cut work. yeah, I did that. We'll see. We'll see what happens with all of that. Okay, so that takes me to things coming up and happening. Sewing with Stephen, that's me. Wednesdays, as always, 9 a.m. Eastern Time start time. It's a Zoom. It's not recorded. Links in the show notes. All are welcome. Come and go as you please. We always love to have new bodies or a friendly group. You'll have a good time. Trust me. And we're at that time of the year where you probably have projects you want to get done and caught up on. You know, the panic is setting in for the Christmas rush. So great time if you've got the time to come and join us, because I always find I get more done when I'm sewing with other people. So maybe you will too. Okay, Russ, speaking of sewing with other people, Russ, my friend Russ of Quilt Meets World, had a sewing shenanigans session on Sunday. And everybody there, I think, got things done. We had good conversation, and it was a good time. So do check out Russ's channel. The link to his channel, Quilt Meets World, is down in my show notes if you've never been to Russ's channel before, and check him out. He does a vlog once a week. He does a live on YouTube on Saturday mornings at around 11 o'clock. He calls it the 11s. And he has these sewing shenanigan days every now and then. He usually has one, looks like it's averaging out to about one a month, but, you know, they are whenever he feels like doing them. Okay, so let's talk about So Chatty last week. We took you on a little quilt show. We went to a week from this past weekend before, 2 weekends ago, let's say, we went to a quilt show up north of Toronto in a town that I cannot pronounce, and it was great. And I talked about that last week on this channel, but I put up the video that I made of the show as well. So if you haven't seen that yet, it's up ready for you to see under my So Chatty playlist. And today is Remembrance Day, so it's very appropriate that I show you the next picture and talk a little bit about the day we had. This is all of the people who came out for the Quilt of Valor Sew Day. That was this past Saturday. Walter and I were there, and if you look way up in the top left corner of your screen, you will see Walter and I standing there. We all made these quilts that you see here. This was a kit and very easy to put together. We just attach squares in rows, and these will eventually go off, be quilted bound and whatnot. And I'm not really sure what they do exactly with these. I was going to ask and I never did, but if we have this many quilts, there were about 50 people there, and we worked pretty much in pairs on these, so there's like about 25 of the same quilt. I wouldn't think that they would give a vet the same quilt to somebody else. And and you can see the wide a range of different quilts people have made and donate to Quilts of Valor. Mine's up there too, but you can't see it because it's off camera, because I took one with me. So I'm not sure what these ones they do with these. Maybe they go to hospitals or something like that on behalf of the Quilts of Valor group. Not really sure. That one in the center, that is spectacular. Sort of the exploding heart idea with the Canadian flag in the center. That is a wonderful pattern. I may have to look for that pattern. I think Walter found it because somebody asked about it on Stephen and Walter Live too. But it was a great day. Lovely group of ladies at it. Plenty of food. I mean, there was enough food there to feed double the number that were there. It was great. It was a really nice day. And the setting is fantastic because we are in the National Air Force Museum at the Trenton Air Force Base, where we do this. So you're in amongst planes. In fact, you can see one poking its head up over on top of the balcony behind us all there. But it was a great day. Now, I did make a little video. I didn't want to go around and take video of everybody working on their quilts because one, that meant I wouldn't get to the quilt I was working on. And two, I don't want to interrupt people, and some people don't want to be on camera. So yeah, that's a thing. So what I did was I took a video of our drive to uh, the location of this, which is about an hour and 15 minutes to the east of us, and we got caught in traffic, which was a very unusual phenomenon, but we made it on time in spite of that. Got worried about that while we were on the road. And I did take some pictures as well that I put in that video of the recipient, the presentation of one of the quilts for that was given to a veteran while we were there for the day. So I'm going to insert that here right now. Okay, so we're on our way to a place called Trenton, which is a little over an hour to the east of us, and that is where the Air Force Base, Canadian Air Force Base, one of them, is located, and we're going for a sew day with the Quilts of Valor. We did this last year, as I've mentioned previously, and so we're going again this year, and I think they're doing about 8 presentations throughout the day of quilts. I don't think one of my quilts is being presented. They never notified me that it was. And I've got one to donate to them as well. But Walter wanted me to show you this. Maybe not quite, but you see the colors? We're actually at the tail end of the change because we got a lot of bare trees. We're a little late for that. What were you going to say, Walter?
No, yeah, there's just hints of color still on the trees, but they're almost done. So
yeah, it's pretty much done. Well, we're into November, so yeah, that's what's going to happen. But anyways, we're going down there. I think they're expecting in about that 50 people sign up for this, and they already have kits made up. If you want, you can bring your own stuff and work on your own. Or you can work on one of their kits, and I think their kits are fairly simple, but we did that last year as well. And it just adds to the collection of future Quilts of Valor as well. So we'll see how far we get on that today, because you kind of work in pairs. If you want to, you don't have to, but we will. We're working on one quilt. Last year we didn't get it quite finished, and I brought it home and finished it up, and then I quilted it myself. Although they said last year we could just leave it there. They look after all of that and get it finished and whatnot. And if that's the case this year too, I might just leave it for them to finish, because I have other projects I want to work on, and it'll be just another one hanging over my head that I have to get done. So yeah, we'll see. But anyways, this is the road. No snow. It's November.
Yeah, it's supposed to snow a little bit tomorrow.
Yeah, but if it does snow a little bit tomorrow, it won't last. First snows never do. So this is an unexpected turn of events. We are about 9 kilometers away from the cutoff. The GPS was telling us to go a different route, but we didn't believe it, and we should have, because there is standstill traffic here for some reason. We're not really sure whether there's been an accident or whether there's construction or what it is, but you can see how fast we're moving. We're just not. Our sewing bags, though, are on wheels. We could just park the car and walk, but I don't think we're going to do that. So who knows what it is up here. And you know what'll happen is we'll get up here and suddenly the traffic will start up again, and it'll be normal, and there will be no trace of what the problem was, because that's happened before too. Yeah, so we're going to be a little bit behind schedule. We're not late yet, but supposedly the start time was for 10. It is now 9:28. And yeah, we will see what we see. Nothing much we can do about it. We can't get off the road. There's no exit here. Okay, here's what the problem seems to be. And this is kind of stupid. Anti-icing spray in process. Expect delays. I don't know about you, but do you see any ice on this road? Do you see any snow clouds in the sky? It's a perfectly clear day. It's above freezing by about 4 degrees Celsius. Why would they pick this moment? There isn't anything in the forecast that says we're expecting a huge winter storm. That we heard anyways on what we heard last night.
Well, it's supposed to snow tomorrow.
So, and does this anti-icing spray stick and stay? Like, I don't know. On the one hand, they seem to be, active about it. But on the other hand, why now? I don't know. Welcome to Canada. Okay, so that takes me to Subscribers Quilt of the Week, and this beautiful creation comes from Jeannie Allen. This week's quilt from a subscriber is not a quilt at all, but it is a carpet bag. And this is sent to us by Jeannie Allen. And Jeannie Allen says, you mentioned making a Poppins bag by two aunties. This is mine. A warning, you have to hand sew the bottom on. I've never made it to a live, but have watched every video you have since 2020. Enjoy your day, Jeannie. Well, thank you, Jeannie, for sending me this. And we were talking about it. This particular one, which you have made, is absolutely beautiful. I love the fabric you have used in that. It's very whimsical, it's very bright, and it's just fun. And I like the whole style and design. Now, you do mention there's some hand sewing in the bottom, but this is not the Poppins bag that I would be making. I'm making one from a pattern I've had for a long time called it's a by Annie bag, but the same kind of thing. But nevertheless, this is absolutely beautiful. I love it. It looks like it'll hold a lot. And I love the little details on the zipper with the little zipper fob that you've added in the pocket on the outside. So this is very, very nice, very inspiring, very bright, very colorful. I can't say too many things that are bad about it. In fact, there isn't anything bad about it. It's all good. So thank you, Jeannie, for sending that to us. And I would love to be able to feature one of your lovely creations here on an episode of The Idiot Quilter. I am running out. I think I have one more quilt before I have none in my pile to show you. So please send me one picture and a little blurb about the quilt. Doesn't have to be long. Under 50 words is great. And I will be happy to feature it here, please, because I don't have anything after next week to show you. So I'm begging you, please send me something. And it doesn't have to be a quilt. It can be anything. I've had people send me pictures of garments they've made, of bag they've made. I've even had some show me some artwork that they have painted or whatever. Whatever floats your boat. Maybe you knit, maybe you crochet as well. Maybe you do English paper piecing, whatever. If you like it, send me a picture, a little blurb, and I would love to feature it here. Okay, so that takes me to YouTube channel of the week. And speaking of sewing other things in quilts, this is a video by Adam Sews, of Adam Sews. Those of you that have been to my virtual retreats or pop-up sew days or whatever, Adam is often here. He's been a presenter a couple of times as well. Wonderful sewist, wonderful quilter, wonderful guy. I have met him in person, even though he's in England. Met him at the Birmingham Quilt Show, and it was a really nice guy. I could see us being really great friends, if we lived in the same community. But anyways, he put up a video talking about men's shirt patterns. He called it the Battle of the Men's Shirts. Which men's shirt pattern to sew? And Walter's been asked that question before as well. But Adam's pretty much a professional, and he gives some really good advice. So here's my review of that video clip. This week's video clip comes from somebody that is no stranger to any of us, and I have talked about his videos many times before, and I like to call him a friend as well, and he is. And well, that is Adam of Adam Sews. And on this particular video clip, he talked about the battle of the men's shirts, which men's shirt pattern to sew. And I found this very interesting because, of course, you know that Walter sews men's shirts as well. But Adam has looked at several different patterns, and he's reviews each one as to the ones he prefers to work with. And I thought this might be of interest to some of you who have been asking if Walter's ever going to do a tutorial about making a men's shirt. And the answer to that, the real quick answer, is no. The more complicated answer is we already have, when he showed me how to sew a men's shirt. So you can go back on some of the past episodes of So Chatty about that. But anyways, if you're looking for a good pattern, especially if you're just starting out in sewing men's shirts, then Adam reviews several different ones and tells you what he likes about them as well. And I think you can definitely trust Adam's opinion about this because he sews a lot of shirts and he's an excellent sewist. So if you're wondering about which shirt pattern you should start out with if you want to make a men's shirt, then check out this video by Adam of Adam Sews called The Battle of the Men's Shirts, Which Men's Shirt Pattern to Sew. So that brings me to future projects, and we've been talking about Quilts of Valor today. That seems to be today's theme. So I went to the Quilts of Valor, the Canadian Quilts of Valor site, and found a quilt pattern that I like and that I want to make. And the best thing about this one is this pattern is absolutely free. It's called Scrappy Maple Leaf Quilt, and it's by a lady called Cindy Carter, and it was designed exclusively for the Quilts of Valor. So here's what I'm talking about. This week's future project is one that I would like to make for Quilts of Valor. In fact, I found this free pattern on the Quilts of Valor site, the Canadian Quilts of Valor site. And it's called Scrappy Maple Leaf Quilt, and it's by someone known as Cindy Carter. And this was written back some time ago in 2008, but it is a free pattern. And I really think it's nice. Well, first of all, I love anything with maple leaves on it. As a pattern, and I really like the border treatment here. I think that's really a lot of fun. Color scheme, I wouldn't do it in this particular color scheme, but I would do it in probably the more traditional colors of Quilts of Valor, which are, you know, the whites and the reds and that kind of thing, maybe a little bit of gold in there as well. It looks fairly straightforward, and there's all this instructions are here, and it's for a twin size 71 by 82 and a half, so it's not a bad size, but won't take you forever. And it looks like it's really made up of a lot of half square triangles, which as far as I'm concerned, that makes it even easier. And then of course strips of squares as well. So I think this might be a lot of fun to do, and as I said, I would probably change the color scheme a little bit. But it's a free pattern, so how can you go wrong? And it's also supporting, if you decide to do so, it supports the Canadian Quilts of Valor Chapter 2. And that would be my intent whenever I get around to making this too. So check it out. It's a free pattern, and the link's in the show notes below. So that takes me to my new segment. Well, it's not that new. I've had it up here now for a few months. Was twisting my seams. But what's going to be new today is I don't have anything to show you because, once again, your people are being shy. No one has sent me a picture of some fabric that they bought some time ago. It's been sitting in their stash, and now they look at it and go, why the heck did I buy that? What made me attracted to that? And you know, I want to know, did you do anything with it, or has it just been sitting in your stash? And if it's still there, do you still love it? Are you just holding on to it? Whatever. These are the questions I want you to answer very briefly and send me a picture of something you find. What am I working on? Well, the big thing was getting that quilt, the Stormy Sea quilt, done and out of my hair. And I'll be honest, I feel like a great big weight has been lifted off my shoulders. It now gives me an opportunity to work on some other things that are not as complicated and that I want to do. Because I was very much tied down to that quilt, and every time I thought of doing something or did do something different from the quilt, I felt guilty that I wasn't putting my time into it. Well, no more guilt. So here's what I've been working on over the past week. So, what have I been up to this week? Well, obviously, as I've already mentioned to you, this quilt, Stormy Sea, I've been working on it. It is all done, the top. Now I have the problem, as you've heard me talk about, of where am I going to get it quilted. And let's move into the other room then. And let's see what's on the printer. Well, right now, I have a letter. It is the letter V. And if I take that off and put it over here, I think you can see what it is that I'm making on the 3D printer. I'm going to make one for Walter as well. I think these are really cool and very intricate. And I think it might look nice if I make like a giant initial, a much bigger one, maybe twice the size or a little bigger, out of a marble type of filament. And I think that would look really nice as a, you know, a decorative part for your sewing room or wherever, or on the wall. Sort of what was her name? Mary Tyler Moorish. Remember in her apartment, if you go back that far, she had a big M on the wall. So yeah, kind of that. It's an experiment. Let's just say that. It's an experiment. I did buy more filament this week, which was just some of the rainbow filament from Creality, because, you know, you can never have too much filament, right? What else? Well, I worked on, don't mind the mess here. I haven't cleaned this up yet from the Quilt of Valor Sew Day. I made this week. I don't know if I like it or not. It's kind of stiff at the moment. I did show this as well earlier. The reason I'm not sure if I like it is because I kind of blew the back. I forgot to put backing fabric on here. Now this is really stiff at the moment because it's still got stabilizer in it, the water soluble. And yeah, it's not very soft. I'm going to maybe throw it in the washing machine and see what it comes out like. I have a feeling it's going to come out like a big ball, a real mess. I don't know if I really enjoyed making this either. It's in the Hoop project. I just thought I'd give it a try. It was on sale. It only cost me $4 or something like that for the files. So yeah, you could do it in color too. I chose to do it in whites and grays and blacks. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth my effort because it's kind of old-fashioned looking. Not really my style. What else? Well, you can see the table's a little bit cleaned up because now I don't have the Stormy Sea quilt on it. I still have leftovers in here to go through. And I do have a Christmas quilt to start on next. So, yeah, I should get on with that. Look at this. My design wall is blank right now. Won't be for long. And I can't think of anything else I've been working on this week. More 3D printing to do, but there always is. And yeah, so that's the week I've been having. So that takes me to my review of an online quilt store. And this week's online quilt store is called Be Joyful Sewing. Rent at Lips. This week's online quilt store is in a little place called Richards. I believe it's Richards. Let me see, I saw it here. Richards Landing, Ontario, which I'm not absolutely sure where that is in location to where I am. Never really heard of it, but it's just a little place, I think. Anyways, it's called Be Joyful Sewing. Joy is found in the simple things, so their slogan goes. And this is their front page, and they welcome you. They have free shipping on orders over $150. That's good. And long arm quilting as well. They have classes. Preview of some of their products. Looks like they sell Janome sewing machines and Martelli products, fabric kits, and all kinds of other good things. So let us take a look at their fabric and see what they're selling those at. Well, we have got their page. It looks like it's fairly well organized. To the left, you have product categories. And here you have a visual representation. So let's go to fabric. There we go. Batik, splendors, canvas, specialty fabrics, Christmas clearance, designer cottons, flannel, fleece, florals, knits, licensed fabrics, low volume, minky, novelty, panels, pre-cut, solids, tea toweling, and wide backing. Okay, well, let's just take a look at, they have designer cotton. So let's take a look at these. Ooh, prices are high. Now, they did call these designer cottons, so maybe that's because they are, but $21.96, $22 a meter. That's on the higher end of the scale, although they have a few a little lower than price, $19.95. Okay, well, let's pop right into, I see they have it by brand, and they have a lot of Northcott fabrics. So let's check these out. Well, that's not bad for these ones. For the Northcott, $19.95 a meter. That's about the going price, although they have some a little higher, $21.95. But it looks like most of their fabrics range in price from $19.95 to about $22 a meter. And here they have some more. So they have quite a bit to choose from in the Northcott. A lot of florals, but a lot of blenders too. So a good variety. Really, a really good variety of fabrics. Now that's just one line. That's Northcott. They also have Moda Free Spirit fabrics. Let's check. I like Timeless Treasures, so let's check that out. Okay, Timeless Treasures I would expect to be a little bit more. $24 a meter is high, but they do have some for $21. Yeah, I would expect $25.50. Whoa, that one's pricey. I would expect the Timeless Treasure ones to be a little bit on the higher end scale. And just for comparison, let's take a look at something like Riley Blake Designs, which is basically middle of the road. I'd say, oh, well, not so middle. $25.50. So yeah, $20 to $25.50. Well, there's some for $19, but you're really hunting here. Prices are, for the most part, I'd say a little bit in the higher end. Okay, so let's take a look at, what else can we look at? Let's look at, did they have pre-cuts? I'm not seeing anything in the pre-cut category, unless it's mixed in with fabric. Oh. Yeah, nope, pre-cuts. There we go, right there. Okay. Fat quarter bundles, charm packs, jelly rolls, about standard pricing, I would say, for most of these. Yeah, they have many pages, lots of bundles. 4 pages of these. Looks like they do have some layer cakes as well. Not a bad selection. And like I said, price-wise, it's what you would expect. So it's neither on the low side nor really on the ultimate high side. Okay, let's go back up into shop here. And let's take a look at batting and interfacing. So, fleece batting behind the seams, one side fusible. That's a fusible, $15.95 a meter, I would assume. Woven. Pellon Nature's Touch, 100% natural cotton batting, no scrim, 9 yards, 96 inches by 9 yards, $20. Well, that doesn't seem bad. But they really, these are all stabilizers. Oh, there's Pellon's Natural Touch, 96 inches wide, so $24.95 a meter. Yeah, and then of course they've got your bagged battings as well. So, oh, they got Battleizer, it's sold out though. And they got Quilter's Dream. So actually, I think they've got not too bad a selection of batting, and it's, I'd say it's the average price that you're going to find for it. So what else can we look at here? Bag hardware and zippers. So they have soft and stable. They have all the usual hardware. Again, pretty much standard pricing. Ooh, they have Tula Pink Web. But boy, that's well, I would expect Tula to be. expensive, but $26.50 for a 2-yard hunk. That's really expensive for webbing. And then they've got some, looks like faux leather as well here. So, okay, so if you're making purses or whatever, they look like they've got supplies for all of that. What else can we look at here? Well, they have your notions, they have patterns. We can take a look at patterns, but I'm pretty sure they will be the standard kind of thing because patterns are patterns. Yeah, and standard pricing, so nothing here really to get you all excited. You can get these anywhere, and that's usually the case when it comes to patterns. They do have kits, and yeah, nothing here is really grabbing me as standing out different from what I've seen in other places. A lot of them they do not have pictures for, but then they're sold out, some of them. So yeah, they have 3 pages though of kits. So if you're into kits, there might be something here for you. All right, so let's go. What else can we look at here? Tea towels, embroidery floss, novelty items, ready-made quilts, and we don't have picture, and most of them are sold out. Yeah, most of them are sold out, so there's no pictures. Okay, so that's a dead end in that area. All right, anything else we need to look at in here? They do mention Janome, so are they a Janome dealer? Yes, it looks like they are. And yeah, not a lot to choose from. Well, no, here you go. They do have a lot to choose from. So, and they have all the Janome accessories, needles, feet, things like that as well. Okay. Anything else I need to look at in this category? I don't know. They've got some Martelli products and novelty items. Okay. We have a new arrival section. And it looks like it's just kits and irons and sewing machines. Okay, what do they have on sale? Nothing. Oh, no, I lied. See all sale products. Yeah, okay. Well, that's not bad. Some of this maple leaf stuff, I'm thinking Quilts of Valor there when I look at those. Some sewing machines. Well, that's really not a sale price because they listed this in the other section at the same price. And this is always bogus. Anything that's got a line through it, they never sell it at that price. They make it sound like it's a sale. Everybody does that. Classes. Nothing happening here. Calendar. Nothing happening in November. They have long arm quilting services. And I guess they'll send you back a quote. You fill out the form. About us. Okay, usual blurb. Now, what I haven't seen is shipping. I know if it's over $150, it's free shipping. So let's see. Let's go policies. It might be in that. Yeah, flat rate shipping is calculated at checkout for domestic shipping within Canada. If you need shipping outside of Canada, please contact me directly. Okay, so I guess you're not going to know how much it's going to cost you. It looks like it's probably coming from Canada Post until you have completed your order, and then you'll find out what that's going to be all about. I don't like that. I know why they do this, because with Canada Post, if you're shipping with them, prices can vary. So, you know, rather than write down one thing and then, you know, tell you something else when you go to check out, I suppose that's the safe way to do it. All right, anything else I can say about Be Joyful Sewing? Well, no, I don't think so. It's your, you know, they've got a fair selection of fabrics, little bit on the high end in price for fabrics. But if you get it over $150 worth, free shipping, so that's a bonus there. Don't seem to have any classes currently, but maybe in the future they do, or whatever. We're between class seasons, I don't know. So anyways, overall my rating of this is, it's not bad, it's not overly exciting. I'm going to give them a good solid 7. And that's Be Joyful Sewing. So that brings me to the end of this episode of the Idiot Quilter, and thanks for joining me. And what's coming up? Well, we're going to another quilt show this coming Saturday in another location. I think we might be. I'm not sure, because there's something else that we might have to do. So we'll see. And if we do, I will do video and share that with you. People have been asking me, when's the next pop-up sew day? This is a good question. I'm right now tentatively, but do not write this down. Well, you can write it down, but don't hold me to it. I'm thinking November the 22nd, which basically is a week from this coming Saturday. This is, if you're watching this way in the future, it won't mean anything to you then. So yeah, I'm thinking I will have to make up my mind probably by Monday of next week. And then I'll send out notifications if I'm doing it. Why am I hesitating? Well, here's why. Walter may have an in-person sew day, and I'm thinking I might like to attend that with him. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. And my luck is, if I turn around and I say right now pop-up sew days on November the 22nd, then I find out that he's having this other sew day thing that I want to go to. So I'm not committing myself to the 22nd yet, but I will be very soon. I don't want to leave you hanging on, out to dry. And you see, if I don't do it then, the next weekend after that is the American Thanksgiving, and I know that most of you would be, because most of my subscribers are Americans, are going to be very, very busy, because that's an important holiday for you. Then the weekend after that, I have company coming. Our friends from Toronto are coming for the weekend. Also, a few days before they arrive, I got to get my house decorated for Christmas. Busy, busy, busy. It's the time of the year, isn't it? 'Tis the season. So the next possibility might be not until about the second weekend in December, and we're getting closer to Christmas. So I don't know. But as soon as I've got it all figured out, you're going to be the first to know. Yeah. So watch your email if you're on my mailing list, and watch my videos if you're not on the mailing list to get details about all that. Okay. Well, I hope you have a great week, and I hope you're staying warm, because it is cold here right now, -4 Celsius. Yep, frosty. And we do have snow on the ground. Not a lot, but there's still snow. So I hope you're keeping warm, and the best thing to do on a snowy day. So we'll see you later. Bye for now.